Well, we could call you the Postman, but of course a lot of people call you Shakespeare in this movie, and I guess it's no mistake that all those lines we hear from Henry V are intended to maybe link you with the character of Henry V, another guy whose greatness was thrust upon him. What do you think of that comparison?
Well, the Postman, he's making Shakespeare up. He gets it all mixed up to begin with. About every other line is he skips, you know, and does so. He's just, if he would have sang a song, it would have been appropriate too. He would do anything just to get a meal, and that's how he moves from community to community. So I don't really draw a lot of comparisons, but I think that's the beauty of the movie when you can.
Yeah, indeed.
You know, I think that really is that's the exciting part of a movie.
And it seems like there's something in you that really responds to the idea of a hero that's a reluctant hero, a hero that's as much a fabrication of the people around him as anything inside him.
Well, it's very difficult to walk around and be a hero. I mean, that's a pretty pompous place to be, you know. You know, people do heroic things at moment in times in their life, but then they have to get on with their life. They can't walk around all puffed up over that one seminal moment where they, in a sense, probably acted correctly, very bravely, in a way that was probably very unusual. So, reluctant is in the sense that this, you know, I mean, it wouldn't be good for him to posture as somebody who's heroic. It would be boring to watch.
Your half-hearted attempts at a salute in the film, or some of them were delicious comic moments.
Yeah, I'm glad you saw those, because I work on the subtlety of that kind of idea where he gets swept up in this. Even if he tries, it feels wrong. His hand is like, it stops.
I know. Now, this is really a film about, I think, a second American Revolution. Is that fair?
Yeah. Well, I think it's about, we take a lot for granted in this country. You know, the intellectuals among us, the elitists, will scoff or whatever, but have them go over and hit that light in their switch and it not go on, and have them not get a fax by God and not have their cell phone work. And that's very possible. And the only reason those things work for those people is because there's this army of people making sure that it does. And when people get into more of a survival mode, those people won't be thought of. Those conveniences won't be there. And we are lucky. We are lucky. This movie's not made to hit you over the head with that idea, but really, I guess when you add it up at the end, you kind of look at that man that brings your mail, and maybe you'll never look at him quite the same way.
And who would have ever thought that the costume of a postman, you bring it off as if it's one of the most great swashbuckling Doug Fairbanks type outfits. I know you love that sense of clothing, fashion. The postman's costume looks pretty dashing.
We worked a while to get it there. I mean, it starts off, obviously it doesn't fit him at first, when you first see it, you know, because it's not his. Yeah. You know, you remember that point where he says, the ladies took your pants in, you know, think maybe you lost some weight, and it's dirty, it's filthy, it's got holes and things like that, but he cleans up. You know, they clean it up for him. They tailor it for him. It begins to, in a way, slowly over time, fit him.
I'm not being facetious when I think that the U.S. Postal Service should be on its knees to you for the greatest public relations thing they could possibly imagine.
You would think.
I would think. Finally, you can work with any director you want. Why do you want to direct this film?
Well, there's so many subplots going on and so many little sidebars that I felt interested in, that I felt that a conventional approach to this movie, they would be cut. Other directors who didn't work on the writing probably wouldn't be as in love with it as much as I would. And I love in some movies, in a journey movie, that there's these subplots that are going on, that a guy tells me that he designed the Galileo space station. For some reason that just stopped and made me click and look at him in a different way than just a man with a gray beard with a limp or a Vietnam vet. They had a life. And in conventional movie making, that scene probably gets thrown away. Maybe it's a scene you didn't even like, but I like it. I like Bethlehem talking about, when he sees the cartoon, he goes on with his little sidebar and he says, you know, a general should keep a journal. It's the only way to keep from being slandered. You know, most people cut on the joke, but I think when you explore his vanity inside the movie, it makes him scary and makes him unusual.
He's not a very good painter either.
And he's not a good painter.
I like that line. We are out of time. Delivering the Mail and the Postman with Kevin Costner. I'm John Tibbetts for KCTV5.